welcome back to Bibliophiles Audiophiles. This is our second episode of the week. Congratulations on being blessed with our voices again.
Yes.
This is your host, Lydia.
And this is Alyssa. And this week, we are continuing the beautiful series that we started earlier this week.
GM Fairy.
By GM Fairy.
Mm-hmm.
So the first book was Get in My Swamp. And the second book, which just got released back in June, is Stay in My Swamp.
That I pre-ordered.
You pre-ordered? I didn't. I waited until it came out.
This is worth every dime.
But to be fair, I didn't start the series until it came out.
Yeah.
So this is the second and probably last book in the series.
As far as I'm aware of.
Just kidding.
What?
There's going to be another one in the
series. Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh!
It's a standalone, but it's part of the series. It comes out in
October. The Ogre? Why am I excited? I need it. When does it come out?
October.
This October?
Yes.
Bro, we're doing it. We're doing it. Okay, I'm sorry.
But
we'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there when we get there. Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
But anyways,
I didn't know there was gonna be a third. Obviously.
Really? Because it's at the end of the book.
Like in the acknowledgments and all that. Because I don't read those. I'll skim them to see if there's anything funny in them, but I really don't read them.
No, it was like part of the epilogue.
What did it say? Do you remember?
The epilogue was in that wizard's point of view.
Oh! Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I got it. I forgot about that.
So, yeah, there's a book. There's apparently going to be a third book in the series, but it's more of a standalone. This is like the second book in the series. So, the description of the book is as follows. Life in the swamp can't get any better for Leona and Beck. That's until Beck pops a big question that forces Leona to face some unfinished business. She heads back to LA, but Beck isn't too far behind. This time looking less like an ogre thanks to some help from Winston the Wizard. Will magic be enough for Beck to get Leona to stay in his swamp forever? And then there's a police note that in order for the characters' events of the book to make sense, you must read the first book, Get in My Swamp, an Ogre Love Story. I think that makes a little sense.
Mm-hmm.
But in case you didn't know, and if you're listening to this without reading the first one, you need to read the first one before you move on to this one.
Yeah, we try to avoid books where you have to make sure you read the first one first, but we couldn't pass this one up.
No.
Yeah.
Also, on Storygraph, there's no content warnings listed for this.
So we made our own.
So we did.
You can't see my notes.
That's fine.
I'll have
you
to read
can
them.
go read because I didn't write them down.
Sorry. Yeah, I wrote my own trigger warnings as I was reading because I was like, I couldn't find any, and I just checked again. Trigger warning is pretty much the last is the same book. Should I go ahead and read those
pretty
two?
Much,
okay.
Yeah.
Sexual content, blood, kidnapping, incest, violence, suicide, cannibalism, pregnancy, and drug use.
Yep.
And death. Did I mention death?
Sounds about right to me.
Death. Yeah, people die.
Miss and Ma'am, what is our ratings for this book?
We try to find reviews that have like writing,
some substance and explanations.
There's only two.
Oh.
One is a 2-point star. Meh.
Love it. That's so detailed.
Very detailed. Plot or character driven? Character driven. Strong character development? No. Lovable characters? No. Diverse cast of characters? Yes. And then the second one is 5-star. The sequel we needed. I absolutely adore Gems and Sims. Did not disappoint. I don't know what that
Get
is.
in My Swamp and Stay in My Swamp.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. The author said it would be even spicier, and truly it was delicious. I loved getting to see a softer side of Beck, but also he's just as protective and hot as in book 1. This was super fast-paced, fun, absurd in the best ways, and had so many little Shrek references, it was perfect. Now I want to watch Shrek 1 and 2 and play Accidentally in Love on repeat. Also, without saying anything, I am already highly anticipating the next story. And on Storygraph, they put peppers, like 5 being hot. This one has 4.
Okay.
So, that's the only 2 reviews that have words. The rest of them are like 1 star or less. It's, rated 2.89.
So higher than the first one.
Yeah. But still, I mean, that's such a low rating.
It really is, though.
These are probably the lowest rating books that we've done.
Yeah. For sure.
For sure.
For sure. That's like our catchphrase.
It really is. That big preach.
Anyways, I guess on to reviews from our point of view, I guess.
James. Sorry, cut that out, please. That was really cringy.
I might just leave that in.
No, please don't.
There's some spoilers coming up, sweetie. You better cover your ears.
All right, thank you, James. That was beautiful, as always.
Yeah.
I kind of wish we could listen to that every time, though. Like, every time we record.
Yeah.
I wish. Anyways,
Yeah,
cut that out.
that's fine. Yeah, that's
Sorry.
nice.
Oh, no. My new ick
Is
spilling seed. I
Yeah.
could feel my dinner. I actually was eating when I read that part, and I wanted to hurl.
You know what's funny though? I was eating during the last book, reading some parts, which was really awkward to read while sitting in like the kitchen.
the dining room, you
Yeah.
know, everybody's walking around.
Yeah. And like I'm just like sitting there reading this, and like that Pedro Pascal meme, where like it's like reading smut in public, and then it's just him, and he's just like eating chips.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah. Oh
But,
my gosh.
Yeah, I
no.
agree. That's pretty icky.
Man, I was reading this book and like a really bad scene, and my husband's like, "What are you reading?" And he never asked me what I'm reading, but me being me, I was like, "Oh, here, baby, I'll read you some." I read him a page, and it was like one of the most grungiest scenes that I have ever read, and he was like, "Why are you reading that?" And now, no, it gets better. I promise you this. Now, every time we're anywhere, and someone asks me, "What kind of books do you like to read?" If my husband is there, oh, he gets so excited. I can just see him doing his little pee-pee dance over there. And he's like, "She likes to read Shrek porn." And I'm like, "You've got to stop saying that." And I'm not even joking. He's done this at least 5 times. To his uncle, to his cousin, to my hair lady. And I'm like, my mom, he said it to my mother. And I'm like, "Can you stop?" And then my mother-in-law, she reads books too. And she's like, "Oh, what are you reading right now?" And Nick's over in the, next room. She's reading ogre porn. God and everybody heard that. And I'm like, "Can you please stop?" So everybody knows that I've read ogre porn at this point. It's just infuriating because he has never cared about what I read before. But now every time I'm reading anything, "Well, you do read ogre porn?" Every single time I'm like, "No, actually, I'm reading about somebody who gets murdered." And he's like, "Where's the ogre porn at?" I swear I can't handle him anymore. Sorry, it's just
I can so picture him saying that though, with like a stupid
"She
little grin on
reads
his
ogre
face.
porn." And then everyone's just like, "Oh."
If anybody ever asks, like, what
Nick's
was,
uncle asked.
I think when I was reading Fighting Destiny, which is pretty much A Court of Thorns and Roses, but
Yeah.
like
Worse.
adds so much sex to it. Like, it's like injected, like
Yeah.
like steroid.
Oh, inseminated up
yeah.
in there.
Like that's what it was. And someone asked me, it's because I told them like, "Oh, I've been like reading a lot," and they're like, "Oh, what are you reading?" And I'm just
I
like,
hate when people ask me.
and I was just
People
like,
only
"Oh, well,
ask.
it's this fantasy book, giving everything about the plot except for the fact that it's smut."
yeah. Man, what if they went and read it though, and they're just like,
I don't think I said the title.
Man, nobody ever asks me what I'm reading unless it's something stupid like this, like Stay in My Swamp or Get in My Swamp, and I'm just like, why? I'm like, "Oh, I'm reading a spin-off of Shrek," and Nick's like, "Ogre porn," and I'm just like, "Stop." It's so embarrassing. Because, like, normally people are just like, "Oh," but, my husband's uncle was like, "Tell me about it." And I'm like, "I really don't want to."
I mean, there was more than just porn in this book, though. At the very least.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like, "Oh, this is a little bit of character growth. Sex!" "Oh, a little bit more character growth. Sex!" "Oh, they're in a sex club." And I'm like, "Okay, it's a sex club. They're trying to figure stuff out. Sex!" And I'm like, "Stop." Like, every other page. Sorry, I got mad about this book.
So, in terms of thoughts on the book,
Sorry. I know, I probably just went on like a 10-minute rant already.
the first part of the book,
Yeah.
the first chapter, I instantly knew he was going to propose.
Did you?
just the setup and everything.
Yeah.
You know, we're just like, we're nicely dressed. It's a picnic.
It's a picnic.
Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
You know. I knew he was gonna propose, and then when he did, I was just like,
Knew it.
I knew it.
I knew it.
Which-
I stayed up until midnight when this released because, like I said, I pre-ordered it, and so I stayed till midnight whenever it released, and I read it in 2 hours. I did write it down.
It actually took me 3 days to read this, which is surprising since it's really short.
Yeah.
I think I don't even enjoy it as much as I did the first one.
I think it was more filling, but it was definitely worse when it comes to smut.
Storyline too. I didn't
Yeah.
like it. But
This was basically like, if the first one was like 50% story, 50% smut. This one was like 20% story and like 80% smut.
yeah,
This was just all
Yeah.
sex, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, not for
Yeah.
me, sis.
I did like the one review mentioned how there was a lot of like callbacks to like Shrek 2. So like the potion where he turns himself into human, the gumdrop buttons being the
That
dreads.
sit me, especially when it
laughed.
was like, no, not the gun drop buttons.
I
and I
laughed
was like,
so
oh
hard.
my gosh, it
I
sit
was
me.
like, wow.
Of course, if you missed it or if you haven't read the book yet, that's a sex drug that causes
Yeah.
multiple orgasms.
Yes.
Like, I think it said like 9 to 10.
Yes.
I don't know. But yeah, and then like apparently they ran out of orgasm drugs. And they said, no, not the gun drop buttons.
Yes.
Do they have showers in the swamp? Because not once has they mentioned a shower.
I would think so.
I would hope so. I mean, hopefully it's not a mud bath like in Shrek. Because, like, you know, woman.
I feel like Beck is a little more sophisticated than Shrek.
He is
though.
very, yeah, he is a lot.
I mean,
Oh, another thing that reminded me, the cover difference from part 1 and part 2. Like, have you noticed that?
Yes.
Yeah, like the first cover, he's like all smooth and ripped, and then the second one, he's
like on steroids or something.
yeah, he's like on steroids. He's covered in scars. You know, his face looks unlovable, personally.
Yeah.
But like just the cover difference, because like the first one, this is gonna make me sound awful. The first one wasn't that bad. I could get on top of that, but the second one, absolutely no.
Did you notice she's in the cover too?
Oh, the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She looks like she's naked though.
Does she?
Oh,
Excuse me. Pardon me. Oh.
Which, given like the substance
No,
of this
she's
book,
got something on her.
she does got something, but it's a lot of skin,
Yeah, it is.
which doesn't surprise me based
That
off
was
of like
kind
how
of
this
like
book
a
was.
sheet, maybe. Oh, it's giving Loki from Avengers or Thor, or whatever you want to say.
You said Loki?
Yeah, but steroid and green, and 7 foot tall and likable. The smut is a little bit too much for me. Like it was too much in the first book,
Yeah.
but this is like really
A
too
lot.
much. It's a lot.
Especially like I wasn't a big fan of like the whole sex club thing.
No, yeah, that
I
I wasn't gonna DNF it because like I paid for it, obviously.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, you know, we're doing it for the podcast. If we weren't doing it for the podcast, I probably would have DNF'd it.
yeah.
I probably would never read it in the first place, actually. But yeah, no, it got to the sex club, and I'm just like,
It was given like Red Light District.
I've never heard of that.
You've never heard of Red Light District?
No, what is it?
Okay.
Move your book.
Both.
Both.
No, it's a place.
Oh.
Yeah. If you go, for example, to Amsterdam,
Mhm.
I don't know if this is in any other place, but I know it's in Amsterdam mainly because I've been to Amsterdam. But there's this place called the Red Light District. So it's basically like, I didn't spend time there. Let me get that straight first of
Oh.
all. We passed through it on a tour of Amsterdam when I went.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can remember is I went with my godmother, and she just told me, like, just keep walking straight, do not look anywhere else. And we're walking down this really narrow, like, alley. Like,
Yeah.
I'm talking, like, just pretty, like, wide enough to fit maybe,
Like,
like
shoulder?
two of me together, shoulder
Yeah.
to shoulder. And all you see are these ceiling to floor length windows with these women in lingerie just dancing in
That
them.
is exactly what the sex club was like in this
Yes.
book.
And then there was like I think there was a box at the bottom of each window so you can like tip them. Like that's what the Red Light District is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought I've seen that like kind of stuff in movies or books, but I
Yeah.
didn't know that actually existed.
Amsterdam. You should go visit.
Man, we gotta go to Amsterdam. Girls trip.
But yeah, it was giving that. But I still didn't like it. It made me kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, I can't imagine, like, especially how they went and performed.
Yeah.
I can't imagine ever doing something
Like, it's one thing looking at it, but it's another thing doing it. And then, like, they went in a room and locked the door and whatever, and then, like, you know, they were doing whatever, and then, like, some girl started licking the window. Yeah, and I'm just like...
Sorry.
Yeah. And then she started making out with the girl through the window, and I was kind of like, do you know how many people have touched that? And it said they were crouched down at pee-pee level. What if a dude had his sweaty junk up against the window and you're licking it? Yeah. My mind is a very awful place to be. But that's where my mind went, was there. And I'm just like, please don't do that.
Yeah.
Especially as a germaphobe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like touching the windows in my house, much less a sex club. I mean, I don't go around licking windows, but...
Your kid might.
My kid does. I promise you that. She licks windows.
But, you know, speaking of, you know, their performance, though.
Ooh.
So, part of this, and I think this might be why it took me so long to read it, is because I listened it through Alexa
Every time
Assist.
you read it, you bzzz.
No. But
Of course.
I was listening to it through Alexa, like, assistant reader thing. Mm-hmm. So, I was listening to it in the car. Mm-hmm. I gotta let you listen to, like, this one scene. I'm pretty sure I have the right page. If not, then I'm gonna be very disappointed. But it's just, the way Alexa reads things is kind of funny. But there's points in time where she'll read it a certain way, and, like, I just die laughing. And I think this might be, like I said, I hope it's the right page. But, let's see.
Maybe you should punish me. Not right now. Right now, I want to make you feel so good. I drag my tongue against her opening, shuddering once I taste her sweetness.
Ooh.
Her body bucks against me. The anticipation seeps out of her, begging to release. But I have a show to put on. I need to take my time. Leona runs her hands through my hair. Small sounds escape her lips. I lap up her liquids, moving my tongue slowly front to back. When I reach her core, I poke in my tongue, imagining my cock penetrating her. Beck, I don't know how long I'll last.
Stop! Siri! You dirty whore! Oh my gosh, I didn't know Siri was capable of moaning.
Alexa.
Oh my gosh.
That's Alexa.
Oh, Alexa. Bruh, I have an Alexa in my kitchen, and I'm just like, oh my god! That Alexa behind me's trying to turn on. Please don't. Please don't right now. For reference, we're in my mother-in-law's pool house, and she's got an Alexa behind me. And I really don't want it to accidentally call her other Alexas while we're talking about ogre porn.
But anyways, so most of the time, so, like, you listen to, like, most of that. That's how she usually reads it to me. But every once in a while, when it's, like, one of those, like, smut scenes, she'll, like...
Back, I don't know how much longer I can last. I can't. Oh, my God. Listen, you're driving, you're stuck in traffic, and you look over and make eye contact with a guy, and it's just, back, I don't know how much longer I can last, and you just got to keep a straight face. I couldn't. I mean, I see stories all the time in the Smut Hood, which is a Facebook group on Facebook. Duh. And it's like, man, I was dropping my kids off, and it, got to a smut scene. I'm like, why are you listening to that with your kids in the car?
Yeah.
Please don't be listening to this with your kids in the car.
Mm.
Or this, because we're talking about bad stuff.
Yeah.
But, well, this episode. Sometimes we don't. But, like,
yeah.
Oh, another ick was lapping me up.
Yeah.
And that.
Lap up my liquids.
I literally wanted to gag. When
I started laughing.
I wrote it down, saying that another ick, lapping me up and naughty. I hate the words naughty and yummy. I don't think yummy was in this book,
I don't think so either.
Those two I can't do. That makes me want to hurl.
Gross.
Bruh, not Pinocchio getting his nose rode in the underground.
I wrote that down too.
That was my next thought. Because it's just like, man, he's got a nose and it extends and there's a girl on it. And I'm like, so is the butthole level with his eyes or level with his mouth? I gotta know. Is he looking at it or is he tasting it? And there's a big difference there. That's how you get pink eye, Pinocchio.
But then that also reminds me, though. So this takes place in LA because plot-wise, which we haven't even gotten to because all we've been talking about is dirty stuff in this book.
Yeah, but well, that's pretty much 80% of the plot.
Pretty much. But the plot that's not dirty is that Leona got a bunch of letters from Fark.
I didn't write down a single thing about that.
Really?
I
Okay,
just
so
know about
for
this
premise,
much.
so Leona gets a letter from Fark, and Fark says, "You gotta marry me, or else I'm outing that you are screwing an ogre."
Yeah, and you know, because
I'm gonna,
it's like a magic world and it's hidden.
Yeah,
And he's like, "I'll tell
and
everybody
like
where
let
you're at."
everybody know, and like
Yeah.
putting everybody in danger and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because in order for him to
Get
get
his
his full
inheritance.
inheritance, he has to be married. So he's forcing Leona to marry him. So Beck proposes, and then she says no because she knows if she accepts his marriage and engagement
Yeah.
and stuff, then everyone's going to be in danger. So she runs away
Mhm.
to go handle the situation, but which really is just to get married to him,
Yeah.
just to save Beck and the rest of the mythical creatures, right?
Yeah.
So this all takes place in LA because she had to go to LA for that. But like my question is, because with them being in Florida, it's this whole hidden town, I
Yeah.
guess, that's guarded pretty much by Beck.
I love that it's in Florida, by the way.
This would be if this was going to be anywhere, it would be Florida.
Yeah.
But my question is, because the whole thing pretty much in the second book takes place in LA, how are all these mythical creatures just roaming around in LA?
Yeah. No, bro, you know, Beck's got a ball cap and some sunglasses. He's good to go, man.
But all these other ones?
I don't know what
Like,
they do.
Like,
They go out on
That's
Halloween.
my question. I feel like there was a lot of, like, plot holes.
There is definitely.
I mean, I know
plot
there
holes.
wasn't too much plot, but there was a lot of plot holes.
Yeah.
For, like, stuff like
Where
that.
there was plot, there was holes.
Yeah.
And then when there was smut, there was also holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish Leona, like, I know she wants to be a strong, independent woman, right?
Girl boss.
Take care of her own problems and
Yeah.
stuff. But I wish she was a little more badass like Fiona is.
Yeah.
Because Fiona can handle herself. Leona cannot. You know, like
She's like, I'm gonna be a big girl, but then she can't.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can't handle herself.
Yeah. I love the fight sequence with Beck and Winston and like the factory or whatever because she gets stolen by sister-in-law. And
I don't remember that part.
let me jog your memory.
Go for it.
Okay. So Winston and Beck get there at Duloc. Right, you know, the dual
Right.
lock, yeah. So, because sister-in-law is like, you're going to marry this guy, I'm going to kidnap you, tie you to a chair inside my factory. And then so, Beck and Winston, which is the wizard, just, you know, hop in there and they start, you know, killing people. You know, Beck's covered in blood, he unties Leona. And then they sex.
Yeah.
Right then and there.
Yeah.
Winston's over there like, guys, we should probably go. And, you know, she's over there, you know, just going to town.
Yeah.
And he's covered in blood. They're both covered in blood.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is not the time.
But that's not uncharacteristic of
it's
them.
not, I mean,
Because in the first book, you know, when Donnie was trying to sexually assault her,
yeah.
Beck beat him to a pulp.
Yeah.
And then they did it right next to
Right
him.
next to him. Yeah, man. I'm just like,
That's kind of gross.
that's really, and then the time when she was going to escape and she just run one out, like, bro, your timing is impeccable.
Yeah.
Honestly. But, like, I know they're fighting, and then she's like, oh no, he's killing people. He's killing people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like, bro, stop. That's not attractive. And
But
then Winston just over there watching.
Yeah.
I just imagine
But, you
him
know, he
breathing
enjo-
heavily.
He enjoyed it, though, because he watched them during the
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah, I know he's mentioned before how much he's enjoyed watching them. Yeah, more than once, I believe.
Uncomfortable.
Uncomfy, yeah.
Here's a great question.
Mhm.
So, the whole plot, right, is because Fark is going to out them.
Yeah.
So, if they could, you know, in the first book, make Leona leave and use a forgetting potion so she could
Why
forget
couldn't
everything,
they? They
why
did.
couldn't they do that to Fark?
She used a potion on him to make him more susceptible, whatever however you say that, to make him remove all the evidence.
Yeah.
But they didn't do the sister-in-law, and she
Compliant.
knew. Yeah.
Yeah.
They made him compliant.
There was another word for it, but compliance, the first one that came to my mind.
Yeah.
But same thing. Yeah, but, like, why couldn't they just use the forgetting potion, Because if they could whip that up for her, why can't
Yeah.
they whip it up for everybody that they know that knows?
Yeah. Which I'm pretty sure the only people that knew was like the brother-in-law and the sister, husband, fiance, and the soon-to-be sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be someone else though, like some bodyguards or something. I don't know.
I mean, again, plot holes, and never mention anybody else. And then she's like getting ready for her wedding, and the fairy godmothers, not the fairy godmother, the one at the dress shop, is talking about, children, and are you excited? And then, finds out sis is like 5 months pregnant, didn't even know it. And I'm like, there ain't no way you can be 5 months pregnant with half an ogre baby
and
not show.
Especially since he's 7 foot tall.
Yeah. I started showing with my kids between the weeks of 10 to 15.
Which is like, what, 3 months?
Yeah. But 5 months with my husband's short. I'll give him that. But he ain't no 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Ogre. Like, you're obviously going to be showing. But
you know what?
Then the godmother or whatever was like, I can smell it on you. Please stop mentioning smelling in books. Please, for the love of God, stop.
But you know what? Just like I knew he was going to propose, I knew she was going to be pregnant.
I did too, because like at the beginning it's like, I'm going to spill my seed in her, and I'm just like, yeah, first off. But second off, I'm like, are they not worried about getting pregnant before they're married?
Well, I mean, I feel like they might have thought like it might not be possible given the fact she's human and he's ogre. Because like some breeds you just can't like cross.
It's like she's 5 months pregnant, they're getting married. Next thing you know, they're running a sex club and their baby's like a year old, and I'm like, it did not mention the labor, the birth. I was highly interested in that.
Me too. I want to know what this baby looks like.
I want to know what the baby looks like.
Is the baby green?
It just meant,
skin?
literally.
Like...
It's like Winston being like, how's the baby? And she's like, good. That's it. That's all they talk about the baby.
Give us some more details.
Give us some more
the baby?
Deets. I don't even know, bro. I didn't even say.
Said.
Man, I was kind of hoping.
I
was kind of hoping to be triplets, because like in the Shrek story, him, Shrek and Fiona have triplets. I was really hoping to be triplets.
Yeah.
And they'd be cute.
No.
But
unfortunately, no.
Yeah. One of them reminds me of one of my children. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The girl reminds me of Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. But yeah, no, they did not mention, because I was like, man, I've had kids, and I kind of like labor and delivery stories, and I'm like,
me too.
I keep hitting myself in the leg. I'm like, I kind of want to know how that went.
Yeah,
but like,
too.
it did not mention anything.
Right? Yes, I agree.
Man,
which was really unfortunate.
Fix it
again. Plot holes.
Plot holes. Like, I was so disappointed, because I was so excited, because I'm like, oh, it's going to talk about a cute baby. And it's like, now we own a sex club, and we perform. And I'm like, I would have rather heard about the baby.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. That's pretty much all I have. My last note is a very fanfic with plot holes.
Yes.
That's pretty much... And like I said, I didn't enjoy this as much as I did the first one.
I think the first one was a lot better.
Yeah. I gave this one like a 3.75.
If you're into...
I might make it lower, like a 3.5.
Yeah. If you're into like poly, sex club...
Yeah.
This would be right up your alley, but I'm not. I'm very vanilla.
Yeah.
Also, my last note was, does Winston have ED, erectile dysfunction? Because it talks about how he wants to find pleasure, but he can't, and then he meets a girl that also can't have pleasure. But that's all it says.
I don't remember that part, and I think
that's
just because
end.
it was in the epilogue, and I wasn't. I think we're definitely going to be reading that standalone, right?
Definitely, yeah.
So we're definitely going to be reading it, but like I wasn't paying attention to it that much.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy series where it's like they're all like standalone basically.
Yeah.
And they take place in different people's perspectives, where it's all in one world.
Yeah.
But like when you have the epilogue that starts off with that, I'm kind of like,
yeah.
Oh, I did enjoy the fact that she name dropped herself in the book.
GM Fairy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that too.
That was cute.
I originally gave this one a 4 out of 5 because I gave the first one a 4 out of 5, but I think I'm going to lower it to like a 3 out of 5.
I think I'm going to drop it down to 3.5.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was...
But it could have been better.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's probably people that like this kind of stuff, but it was not for me. Smut was too much, and there was a few times I physically Great.
I think that's why it took me so long to read.
Yeah.
I mean, not only because
Man, I made so many faces, you know. My buzzwords would be funny, smutty, adventurous, and HEA, like happily ever after.
yeah, I
'Cause
wrote
it
good
was
but
happy
missing
ever.
stuff.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
missing a lot.
If there's a little bit more, then it would have been better.
Yeah. But it was still enjoyable. Like, if you
Yeah.
read the first, you got to read the second. And
Yeah.
obviously, we got to read the third.
Of course.
So, we will definitely be back for that.
Yes,
I'm ready to wrap up. Are you?
I am.
Thank you for joining this week's episode of Bibliophiles, Audiophiles.
Again, we're starting 2 episodes
Two
a
episodes
week.
a
We're gonna
week.
try it. We'll see how that works out.
So, this is the second time this week you've heard our beautiful voices.
in 1 week. Aren't
In
you
1 week.
so happy about that?
So blessed. That was so sad.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
Everybody says that down here.
Yeah.
Everybody says that down
Yeah.
Sorry.
You can send us some ideas of stuff we can read.
Mhm. We have an email at biblioaudiopod@gmail.com.
Or an Instagram at biblioaudiopodcast. DM us there. I promise we'll accept your DM. And you can follow our Instagram. That'd be really cool too, because
Yeah. You know, we post information on upcoming episodes, merch, and
eventually merch.
eventually merch.
At this
I'm
current
still working on
moment,
that.
I haven't posted anything about it. But maybe by the time this is out, I'll post something about it.
Maybe.
We'll see.
I need to make it first.
Yeah, that
All of our merch is going to be handmade by me.
Yes.
So, you know, Lydia. So if you would like to buy something, that'd be mint, bro.
Yeah. Big preach.
Big preach. Big preach. But, October.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
be at the Summerton Book Fest, October 14th. Let me check.
I'm pretty sure it is the 14th.
Yes. Summerton Book Fest, October 14th, starts at 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. The Summerton Bookstore is the one putting it on. And they've got, like, authors and vendors. And we'll have our own stand, you know, with merch and business cards to pass out to kind of, like, grow our fan base a little bit. So if you wouldn't mind coming out to support us.
If you're in the area.
If you're in the area. If not, plane tickets. No, don't do that. Those are expensive. But yeah, no, we hope to meet some people and, you know, to expand a little bit more. And that's it.
Yeah. We'll see you in the next one.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.